How's it going, guys? Grimsie42 here, and today I have for you guys what is going to be part one of a two-part little mini-series, if you will, on the things that I picked up at the Midwest Gaming Classic, which was just held this weekend in Brooksfield, Wisconsin. I got some pretty dang good stuff. This first part here is going to be the stuff I picked up on the way to the convention, and then part two will be what I found at the actual show. So definitely some cool stuff, and without further ado, let's go. Alright guys, so today, like I said, I'm going to show you the stuff that I picked up on the way to the actual convention. Last year when I went with my buddy Brian, we stopped at a ton more stores, it timed out better, and we wound up picking up so much stuff that it took me 5 parts to show you everything. This year, honestly, I didn't have the same budget that I had last year, and games cost more now, so it's not as much stuff, but I definitely picked up some really cool stuff, and some stuff I'm happy to show you guys. Unfortunately, just due to the limited space in the car, a lot of this just got thrown in. I tried to reassemble it in a semblance of an order, but a lot of this is not going to be together at purchases. I'll try to clue you guys in on stuff when I get the opportunity. First thing I'm going to show you guys is a couple of PSP games, and I've been trying to beef up my PSP collection. It's probably around 60 games or so right now. And I've really been trying to get that number up. There's a lot of RPGs, there's some cool platformers, stuff I've been looking for. And this first one is something that I had heard about. It looks really cool. It is a combination of Taito and Ubisoft, so you don't see that very often. Usually publishers don't get together on projects like this, but this one is called Exit, Speed, Strategy, and Survival. And it kind of looks a little bit like elevator action of sorts, just because it looks like you traverse through, you know, a similar style, and the background has a very similar palette or template, if you will. But if anyone has played this, let me know. It looked really interesting, and this was only like $3, so I thought I'd give it a try. This next one I was really happy to get. I picked this up at an exchange in Ohio, and it looks like it got a 9 out of 10 for its rating, which is great. It's an xSeed title, which is a publisher I really like to get games from. This one is Wild Arms, and I think it's XF. There's some weird handwriting in the back there. Yeah, Wild Arms XF, and it looks really interesting, so definitely excited to play this. Also, quick question. Does anyone know if there was a different version of this, like if it came in an outer box? I know a lot of these xSeed games did, so I'm trying to avoid getting games that had a collector's edition for the PSP. If I can get the collector's edition, I prefer to get that. Last PSP title is an NIS title. This one is Generation of Chaos, which looks kind of like a tactical RPG of sorts. I haven't really looked too deep into it. I just know I've been trying to pick up a lot of the NIS, Atlas, and xSeed titles, so this one was about $10. A little higher on my PSP budget, but it looked interesting, so I picked it up. Okay, next. This was also an exchange pickup. Believe it or not, I only purchased this for 2 reasons. One, my copy didn't have a manual, which it now does. And the second reason was the exchange does a buy 3, get 1 free, and this would have been, in theory, a free game. So I picked it up, basically got the manual for free, if you look at it that way, and now I have a spare case and cartridge to trade or sell away. The game is Forgotten Worlds, and it's very similar, in my opinion, to the NES game Scat. So if you guys have ever played either of those, one of them is just like the other. It's got the similar, you know, like the flying mechanic where you have a gun, so it's a similar, I look at it as like kind of a flying Contra, so pretty fun game. And very happy to complete that. Alright, this next one here is kind of an enigma. A lot of people didn't know about this, and when I saw it I instantly knew, and I was very happy to find it. It's a very clean, complete copy of Super Mario Bros. 3, but if you notice, the Bros is actually over Mario's hand. And that was something that happened only on the first print run of these, maybe the second print run, but right in the beginning of production. If you notice on most copies, the Bros will actually be under the I and the O of Mario. So really cool to get this variant. I already had a regular version which had it there, and then I had the challenge set version. And this was the last one I was looking for, so I'm tremendously happy to get this and, you know, complete the trilogy, if you will. So really cool to get. And typically these go for a little more, so if you find them, definitely pick it up if the price is right. The cool thing is, it'll actually say Bros over his hand on the cartridge, and the manual will have Bros off to the left also. However, not all packaging will be like that towards the end of when they were switching, because in this case, my cart actually has Bros over the I and the O, but my manual is the correct manual, and everything is so clean, I know that it all belongs together. So this was kind of one that happened in the transition period when they had, you know, boxes and manuals left, but they had gone on to the new design for the cartridge. So pretty cool little piece of history there. Alright, the next one I'm going to show you guys is an Xbox game I picked up. This was again at an exchange, and it was part of that buy 3, get 1 free. It's Toe Jam and Earl 3, Mission to Earth, and I'm told this also came out on the Dreamcast, but was never officially released, so it'd be cool to get a copy of that, maybe through like Homebrew or something of that nature. Okay, next stuff I'm going to show you guys some cartridge-based games. This one was $3. Replay, a store in Toledo, I believe. Glover, didn't have it, so nice addition to the collection. I picked this one up because I saw that it was drastically underpriced. It's about a $15, $20 game, and this one was $8, or no, $6. So I picked it up. It's Chameleon Twist 2, and I actually think it's a card upgrade for me too, so I'll have a spare one of these that just might have a little bit of marker residue on the top. So cool thing to pick up, a nice double to have for the collection. This next one here was only like a couple bucks. This one is Cyberspin by Takara. Haven't heard much about it, but it was a Super Nintendo game I didn't have, and it was cheap. This next one here is actually part of 2 games I bundled together. Got both of these for $25. I didn't think it was a terrible deal. I didn't think it was the greatest deal, but I wanted both of them. So this one's a Vic Tokai game. It's Time Slip. And this next one is more the highlight. I've yet to clean it. It does need a little bit of TLC, but it's probably going to come out pretty good. And it's a copy of Sonic Blastman by Taito. It's a pretty good beat 'em up with some rather large sprites. So definitely cool to get this. Alright, the next stuff I got, 3 items that I got from a store called Replay. I actually got these where I got that Glover. The first one was a clean Super Nintendo controller. As you can see, it was $7.99. Just always good to have a spare, and I believe these are like $15 to $20 online as far as their value. So I figured for $8 I could pick it up, and if I didn't need it, I could definitely flip it for, you know, a few dollar profit. This next one, I believe, was on a Metal Jesus video or something of that nature. It's a pinball game. It's called Crewball, and it features music from Motley Crue, which is really cool. Just a quick little tip for you guys. This is complete. However, I think it came with like a tattoo or a sticker or something. I think it was a sticker. So definitely looking for one. I doubt I'll ever find it. It's a pretty cheap game, but pretty cool to have in the collection. Last one I got from that store was a renovation title, and I have decided as of this trip that I'm really going to make a focus to complete my renovation Genesis collection. Hopefully by the end of this year, but we'll see. And this one here is a pretty cool looking, I guess, like a tank combat game from what it appears. And it's called Granada or xGranada-X, depending on how you want to spell that out. But very, very clean copy. Everything's in great shape, so definitely happy to get another renovation title in the collection. Alright, coming up towards the end here, just a few more items. Next I will show you, and I'm going to go through these quick because a lot of these are forgettable, just a ton of PlayStation 1 games that I picked up from buybacks. They typically were charging like $1 to $2 a piece for these. This one was $5 though. Armored Core Project Phantasma. I like the original, so I figured I'd try that one out. These were most of these were $1 or $2. ESPN Pro Snowboarder, Disney Studio Mulan, World Cup Golf Professional Edition, Tigger's Honey Hunt, Motocross Mania. These is the same game but had a different manual, so I picked them both up. It's Andretti Racing, and other than the manual, it looks identical, so I think that's cool that they had 2 different manuals for it. Next one here is Men in Black, the series Crashdown. After that we got Tiger Shark. This looks like a 3D shooter, kind of like Afterburner. Okay, this next one here I got from Mr. Fantastic. I actually got 2 games off him for $20. He picked them both up and realized he had them. This first one here I hear is actually really good. It's Spider. And then the other one I got from him was a Dreamcast game. I actually had this disc in the rear art for this, but I needed the manual, so I have a complete copy now. And I'll have that spare, innards of what innards, if you will. I'll have the rest of that other whatever. King of Fighters Dream Match 1999. So cool to get this complete finally. Next one here, these were 2 cheap Dreamcast games I picked up. These were only a couple bucks also. MTV Skateboarding featuring Andy McDonald. And Sydney 2000. Eventually I'll get a complete Dreamcast set, so I picked them up when I can. Alright guys, the last stuff I'm going to show you is all from one stop. It is a place called the Video Game Underground. And if you remember my videos from last year, you will know that this was the place where I found most of my good stuff. I was definitely excited going back, hoping to get some goodies, and this year I think it was more of a quality over quantity. Again, I had a lot less to spend, and this was actually the last store we stopped at, so my budget was getting pretty low by then, and I wanted to save some money for the actual convention, but I did pick up some cool stuff. First thing is a complete long box PlayStation 1 game, and for $5 I thought it was a great deal. It's Cleek the DNA Imperative, and this is in really good shape. Even has a styrofoam inside, so definitely something I thought was worth the $5, if for no reason other than to get another long box title. But I hear it's actually a good game. Next, these are re-shrink wrapped by the store, but they are practically in new condition. The first one is Super Alfred Chicken. And I haven't played this one, but it looks like a graphical upgrade, I guess, of the Nintendo version. If you guys have played both, let me know. Are they different games, or are they actually the same game just with different graphics? But as you can see, this thing is like literally flawless. There's just no bends, dents, anything. And he had 15 on this. Next one here is Cutthroat Island. Looks like it was based off a movie. It looks like Val Kilmer and Gina Davis, maybe? I don't know how good my memory is. But it was an interesting little action platformer styled game from what I could tell. The graphics look kind of poop, but again, it was very clean and a game I didn't have. So this one was 15 also. Alright, this last item, the last item I have to show you guys. This was the one that the thumbnail alluded to, and something I never really thought I would get at all, let alone complete in box. I always looked for this like loose, anytime I would see the system that it's on, I would look through the cartridges hoping that, just because the system technically is not a popular system and no one really buys it, I was hoping that somebody would just throw it in there and not realize, as far as I know, it's like a $100 cartridge. And complete in box, it can go anywhere from like the high $2s all the way up to $400, depending on, how many are up at the time and the condition. And it's something that doesn't sell very often. If I'm not mistaken, only like 5 of these have sold since like 2014. So it's not something you see every day. And just because I'm definitely a collector of rare items and I'm a huge fan of the series, I thought I would pick it up. It's something that, again, I never thought I would have. But without further ado, as I like to say, I am proud to say I am now the owner of a complete in box copy of Mega Man for the Sega Game Gear. And I guess this was put out by US Gold. I don't know if they were like a secondary publisher, but it's in pretty good shape, as you guys can see. It does have its flaws, but very solid, no major damage anywhere, and everything in here is intact. I'll actually give you guys a little bit of a closer look right now, so check that out. Alright guys, here's a little better look at the actual game. As you can see, very clean, still has the original case, the manual, which is in very good shape, the little plastic tray there, and then there's a closer look at the box. Just not mint, like I said, it's got its damage, but pretty darn good, and something I'm definitely happy to have in the collection. Alright guys, thank you for watching. This is going to wrap up part 1. Be ready for part 2. It's probably going to be the end of this week. And I do have a ton more videos that I'm going to be filming today, so I'll have a lot of pickups to show you guys. So definitely look forward to those. Let me know if you guys were at the Midwest Gaming Classic, and if you were, what you thought of it. If not, just let me know some of the stuff you found recently. And as always, guys, take care.